Welcome to Building the Future. I'm your host, Kevin Horick. You can check out the radio version of the show every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WDJY 99.1 in Atlanta. We also air on a podcasting network in Los Angeles called the 405 Media. There's a TV version of the show that airs on KMVT 15 in Silicon Valley at 8 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday nights. Both versions of the show air in other states. For these show times, plus past episodes, please visit the show's website at buildingthefutureshow.com. The music for the show is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com. Welcome back to the show. Today we have Dr. Metashar Dillon. She's an author and founder of the Women's Global Entrepreneur Competition and the CEO of the Kingdom International Economic Development Corporation. Dr. Dillon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you for having me. You know, it's just a blessing. Thank you so much for inviting me to Building the Future. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to do the show. You and I kind of connected on Twitter, and I kind of checked out what you were doing online, and I thought it's very cool, very kind of needed, and I think kind of what you guys are doing is actually, you know, quite amazing. But maybe before we get into all that fun stuff, let's get to know you a little bit better and start off with where you grew up.
Yes, Kevin, I was born in a place called Georgetown, South Carolina, by Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
I was born there. Yeah, I was actually born there, and then I was actually transplanted on the East Coast as a little girl, and then my mom picked us up and we moved to California. So I literally grew up my whole entire life in Inglewood, California.
Okay.
You know, and so I went to school there. And then, you know, as I got older and, you know, we went into, you know, franchising of salons, and we were in the salon industry and product industry retail. Then I got one of the stores needed me back here on the East Coast. And so that's how I actually ended up back on the East Coast.
Okay, interesting. So I want to focus on kind of all the stuff that you're doing now, but I think it makes sense to maybe give us a little bit of a kind of maybe quick overview of your career and maybe some career highlights up until kind of what you're doing now with the tour and the Economic Development Corporation.
Yes. Well, you know, I come from, you know, a long history of entrepreneurs, you know, and my mentor, you know, it was my mom, you know.
That's great.
But I've always had a passion to service of the community and locally and, you know, globally, and just, you know, because of my own personal, you know, life, you know, of what we went through, you know, some of the, you know, tragic situations, you know, it was really like a testimony to say you can rise no matter where you come from. You just have to, you know, make a decision. If you still have your mind, you still have the power to make a decision and change your life, you know. So I wanted to really share, you know, my experience of achieving the America dream and, you know, keep on striving, you know, to keep on striving. But, you know, going to, you know, I started as an entrepreneur when I was a young girl. I was like 17 years old,
wow,
you know, going into business. And, you know, I really didn't know a lot of what to really do because I didn't really have, you know, formal training. And the formal training that I had was all vicarious, you know, by watching and living in that place. And as a little girl, I saw the generation of people in, you know, from my mom to my grandparents, you know, to their parents, to, you know, entrepreneurship and, you know, in the midst of entrepreneurship and growing and leaving legacies in the earth that you learn vicariously. And so, you know, that's really my life, you know, and, you know, I went to school to get a trade. And, you know, as I went to school to get a trade, you know, and I worked it my whole entire life, you know, and learning. So a lot of things was, you know, watching and then learning. And then it wasn't until later that I went and I got, you know, scholarships to go back to school to learn about business, you know, and entrepreneurship. I can remember the Bank of Boston, which doesn't exist anymore, but okay. I remember them giving me, you know, a a scholarship to go and to learn about business, learn about what I had been doing all my life. And then I then went back to the university, Harvard University School for Women, again for, entrepreneurship,
Very cool.
and so and so with that, I still went back and I learned, some things that I wish I would have known before. So my life is, I can tell somebody how to make it, but I could also, show you what happens because you don't have the knowledge of something. So it wasn't until later. And then I just started, and then I started with, helping, women, from small business and mentoring and small business to mid-cap companies to, large, corporations. So I also have a consulting company where I have clients,
Sure.
that want to expand, and take their companies, by way of government or by way of, investors, to expand their product into other territories, we call it emerging economies, emerging markets. So, that's my business, that I do business on the side. So I've traveled the world, I've gone to, places all over the world. And I don't want to jump before you, but I've gone to China, India,
Wow. Great.
Africa, I've gone, and traveled, around the world and presented, into, high level government, and how to really help companies. My mission has always been expanding USA companies that want to go abroad,
Sure.
because of the relationships that I had. So my focus has always been, expanding those companies, but also, coming into relationship and partnership, to with other countries, that need our products. We're pioneers, we're, trailblazers, we're trendsetters, so at the end of the day, I always wanted to be able to grow our base.
Sure. I think that's great. And I think that kind of leads us into kind of what you're doing right now. You're on tour right now, and you're touring kind of the country right now, with the WGEC tour, the Women's Global Entrepreneur Competition. So what exactly is it, and what are you guys covering when you're kind of touring through different cities throughout America? And then next year, you're going to be kind of going outside of North America on kind of a world tour. So what exactly are you doing with all that?
So what we're doing is right now, America First, where we're doing a nationwide tour.
Okay.
And in the nationwide tour, it's a global platform. So it's a digital platform.
Okay.
And our focus is technology, innovation, green, renewable energy.
Got you.
And it ties into, social economic. In other words, we're going to, birth and train the whole concept of putting together a full business plan that's fundable. So it's a platform that everybody wins. So we're empowering them and training and teaching women focused and also the young millennials and then the youth. So, that's a different whole segment and category. But, we're getting you and training you so you can not know anything about business and be a part of the WGEC tour. And then you can also have been in business as long as you own 51% of your company and you're the decision maker. So we are advancing women in technology, where we're training you from soup to nuts. So you don't have to know anything, but if you have a company, and then there's capital. So we're setting it up that we merge you into a place and then into categories where you may need capital. So
Right.
we're partnering people with angel investors, and we're putting you into a tank, and we're bringing you nationwide. And so with that nationwide piece, we're making 5 stops. So we've already been to Charlotte, North Carolina. We were at the Ritz-Carlton
Wow.
Hotel on April 7th. And so this weekend, we're doing New York, Boston, and Connecticut, and we're going to be at the Stanford Mall. So we're bringing, and it's open, and anybody from any state can meet us in any one of these spots to go ahead and come and do your pitch. Now, you don't have to actually be ready You need to understand a little bit about what you want to do because, the judges will ask you, but you need to be ready by 2019, this time next year, where we're going to bring the entire platform because, after the last stop, which is Los Angeles, California, Beverly Hills, California, where we'll be, that's the last stop, which is in July. But before that, we go to Chicago next week on the 19th. And then from Chicago, we go to Dallas May 9th. And then we're in Houston the 9th, the 10th. The 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. So we are in Houston the 10th, 11th, and the 12th. And so that will be the nationwide tours. Those cities were selected. Deep in-depth research went into every region and why we actually chose each region. Next year, we will expand it after the first tour. The international platform, we will expand and go into other, states. We have an open invitation. So if anybody wants us to come into their state, we're saying book now, reserve now, and we'll tell you how that partnership works.
Oh, I think that's great. So you kind of quickly mentioned what people can expect at the different tour stops, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. So, if somebody shows up to one of these, what exactly is kind of the day or two of the stop?
So what happens is you come, you pitch your 30-second pitch.
Okay.
And so some of the things that went on in North Carolina, they came, they pitched a 30-second pitch, and then the judges was like, oh, I like that. So tell me a little bit more about what it is that you're doing. Tell me a little bit more about it. So it's all, under confidentiality,
right.
Because, the trademark, the patent, and so everything is in that room. And so, it's basically stirring them up. And so basically what it is too, it's a membership for us to train you. So it's a continued training. But guess what? It's even open for some people that don't want to compete. So it's really a membership where we're training you entrepreneurship. And I want you to know that it's also a curriculum. And the curriculum has already been designed from grade school to elementary school, even to a college platform where we are accelerating and teaching you and not only preparing the fullness of the business plan, but also white papers. In other words, they call it the white paper magic where, we're helping you, even break your business plan down so you could be short and sweet to somebody, first of all, to get them interested, for you to present, and then have the fullness of the business plan with the financials. And so we have experts that's going to be at every stop. That's expert in capital raise, license for capital raising, also for financial, for international trade, for branding, for marketing, trademark attorneys, international lawyers, so everything you need, you're going to be able to meet some of these people at the stops where they're also presenting. So you can also go back to the website at a later date, and you can also learn from that also. So we're doing training and teaching even on the site. So we're getting all of that, and it's being compiled. And even in the midst of that, there is, a lot of things that's being created. So what we wanted to really say, it's a technology vehicle of creativity. So, how and how would the problems be solved if we don't utilize the resources on the planet and other means effectively? So we're developing an untapped resource of women and youth and entrepreneurs to present also, too, that some of these people have the world's problem locked up in other words, their treasures locked up, and we're unlocking the treasures and having resources that we unlock the treasures inside of individuals that would not have been given this opportunity.
Right. No, that's very cool. So there's a pretty big prize at the end of this thing in 2019. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yes. So the showdown. So we're building momentum, and the showdown is going to be in Dubai.
Okay.
In 2019, April in 2019, and the grand prize. Now there's several prizes. Now you can be able to get prizes in the best technology piece and the best, innovation. So your best idea and the best, green and renewable energy. So there are going to be segments of prizes, the best social piece. In other words, you got a business plan, but your business plan is going to create water that, the world can get water and be healthy,
Sure.
So that social piece, so it's going to be, so there's segments of different, so there's a lot of prizes that we're also, too, still looking for, funders and companies, to back up these young people and the women. So the grand prize is $1 million
Wow.
grand prize for the top winner. And it's not for you to go shopping. It's going to be compliance behind that. So it's like it's a grant. And then somebody's going to be walking with you down the road. You're going to walk with somebody the whole way. So when you do this part will be released. So it's not for you to go shopping. It's very, very regulated. It's
right.
for you to really do what you say you're going to do behind that. So we're getting a lot of people and a lot of momentum built up, even being on building your future, the whole good success, visions and legacies that last. So this is a platform that's built to do better in terms of, entrepreneurship. This is the greatest time in the USA, for us to go into business. It's the great laws have been set for women, believe it or not. And regardless of what people say, laws have been set and put in motion for women entrepreneurs, for us to advance in the areas of entrepreneurship. So this is the greatest time. This is the greatest time, and this is something that's been developed a long time ago, but it is the greatest time, and this is the season for it to come to pass. And for us to partner and market together, to get this and do what we need to do in the earth.
No, I think that's really great. And you've had, obviously, you mentioned a ton of interest kind of in North America, but you've also had a ton of global kind of interest from, TV and a show. Do you want to maybe talk about that as well?
Oh, absolutely. So, for the hearers of this show, I've already been approached by the number one television network in China to buy the license because they want to be able to have the rights to the reality show that's being created.
That's amazing.
Also India and Africa. So I've already been approached to have meetings, because they want to get the license in these different countries because the producer, Kevin Stanford, I don't know if you know Kevin, but he's a powerful, powerful producer. He produced, one of the producers for the Grammys. He was one of the producers for the Hand in Hand. So Kevin is very, very, very powerful. And he was an original producer for some other reality shows. And he heard about this. And so I received a phone call, and he was like, that is powerful what you're doing, a show segmented, for these different, pieces and then a show that, moves into a focus, for the youth and the geniusness of all of these powerful, powerful young people so that the Tiger Youth, launching your future in a place to ignite passion for the young people through mentorship and worldwide networking and motivated to solve many of the challenges of the earth that will affect earth and the future of all humanity. So, when he found out about that, he was like, oh, this is powerful. So we're actually, going. So there's a show for the reality show, but there's also a pilot. So during the tour, they're also filming and getting, the pieces, getting all the pieces that they're asking us for, to be able to do that. We also have another platform that also asked us, can we get some excerpts? So they want to be able to put it into some of the other emerging economies, to build the momentum. And what I've learned, Kevin, is that I've gone to many of these countries and I've gone to centers around the world, and they have resources for young people that they meet the immediate needs, like they give them somewhere to stay, food and clothing, and they give them a timetable, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years, and they have to bring their idea to full fruition, ready to go to the market. So they have to bring the fullness of that idea or that product or that service. They have to bring it into a fullness where, is ready to go to market. And they do this. And I went to these centers around the world, and I was like, wow, why don't we have that here, home? So this is that, to ignite the youth, and that's the generations to come. I just did a presenting at one of the top schools, technology, green schools in the country, and I'm telling you, the young people was on fire about the youth portion of this. Tiger Youth, launching your future.
Interesting. So I want to kind of dive a bit deeper into that, because you and I, when we talked a couple of days ago, you guys are doing a lot of kind of like training and getting into schools, and doing some presentations and stuff. So you kind of just mentioned it, but I want to kind of dive deeper into kind of what you guys are doing with the youth and getting into kind of schools and some of that training. Because I think personally it's super important, to kind of empower younger people to, make a change and at least help them follow their dreams or chase or start up a business if they choose to go that route.
If they choose to go that route, you're absolutely correct, because in our presentation and what we're saying and our message is there are different vehicles. Mm-hmm. There are different vehicles, and everybody's not going to go the same path. The beginning of our foundation is, education. Education is first and foremost, because even in this you're learning. But this is set up, STEM-wise, for science, technology,
sure.
Innovation, just anything to do with math. So our curriculum is set up and designed to be taught in any United States school system with all the elements of teaching.
Okay.
So we're finding it's more than one way. Everybody's not going to college.
Sure.
And, some people go to college and they drop out. Matter of fact, some of the richest people in the world,
yep,
they went and they dropped out. Why? Not because they couldn't do it, because they had a higher capacity.
Sure.
They had the ingenuity of entrepreneurship. Look at Stephen Jobs,
totally.
God forbid, he's gone. But, look, he started in the garage.
Yep.
Look at Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Look at, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates.
Totally.
Look at, even our president, who got 60, he's doing business with 60 countries. So the message here is, let's take everybody for where they are. So we even have a program where we do research and help people, that are in need, find, scholarships to college. But we also have this piece where it's entrepreneurship. And then there's another piece. Some people can go into the Air Forces,
sure,
the Army, the Navy. So it's not just one way. So success, and listen, whatever way they choose, we're just trying to say we want you to be successful. So for women and youth, the segment is untapped. It's an untapped reservoir of innovation and ingenuity. So we're just providing a vehicle, which is a global network, funds, investors, global resource center. And basically we're teaching people about the power of networking. And you can, you can go and read about all of this, and we've written about it. It's in the books that I've written. But your global footprint,
sure,
paving the way for new technologies into the marketplace, startup technologies for women in technology, women in tech, bring resources, networks, and funding resources, provide an alternative pathway to success for the segments that can't afford the high price of college tuition. So sometimes people go to college, Kevin, and they don't even come out of college doing what they went to
sure,
college to do. Because one thing we can say, so our goal is to mentor a youth, to have mentors, to gain exposure and experience. Because guess what? You go to college, but you don't have experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And then guess what? So we're trying to say, listen, and sometimes you go to college and you finish, and then your end game. I teach people, even when you go to college, let your end game still be entrepreneurship, because in our society, after you reach a certain age, they really don't need you in the marketplace anymore. They're looking for young minds
Sure.
to that are fresh and that are creating. When I went to this program on last Thursday, it was one young man said, I have a invention that I want to clean space up.
Sure.
And then another young man said, well, I want to be able to have a vehicle where even people that go to prison, because it's a system and it's designed, you're going to keep returning back if there's not a solution for you. So I want to create a solution that when they come out of prison, we teach them entrepreneurship, because they really can't get a job.
Right.
So the stuff that I heard from the young people and how they want to really make, the world a better place and bring, everybody into diversity. So, they talked about that. And I was blown away. And so the young people was like, they were blown away. And the principal was like, how can we get this program in our school? And so, but our vehicle is set up that not only in the schools, we also have a vehicle where we bring tech mobiles into your community and saddle up live and teach people right from an app entrepreneurship. So at the end of the day, in different languages.
Interesting.
So all I'm saying is, this is that vehicle, and it's a set time, and it's not ultra expensive. But we set a vehicle and a platform up that everybody wins, and it's not determined, whether you're meeting the grades, whether you have a certain, grade score, or a certain average. So we're setting it up that we work with you wherever you're coming from, and basically that you have a winning business plan, and that your stuff is in place, your trademarks, your patents, So we're setting up a vehicle so that you will win. So we have a vast wealth of information and knowledge that we can, that we believe that wealth and prosperity are no accident, but it's created by design. So this WGEC tour is done by design to make sure that everybody win. And then we close the gap of that 1%. So the burden of the world is not just on 1%, Kevin.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I think it's great. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into kind of the app that you mentioned. So how does that kind of work? And can people start using that now, or they have to come to you, or how does that kind of work?
So what has to happen, because it's at the development stage.
Okay.
And then of course, you start getting into something, and so something begins to start costing so much more than what you expected, because
Sure.
It needs so much. So of course, this is a platform that's going to continually, we need funding.
Okay.
And so that app is being done wherever you are, you can get wherever you are in any language, we're going to be able to train you from wherever you are, to be able to get your business plan and teach you all the segments and strengthening your plan on what you have. And so that's in the development stage. And of course, we're definitely looking for more funding for that. So for the listeners that are out there, I'm getting a lot of people that's approaching me, and calling me. Matter of fact, just before this call, we just got a call from Andrew Cuomo's office in New York. So that's the mayor there in New York, the governor or whoever, Andrew Cuomo's office. We just got that call, and I just got it as I was getting ready to get on this. So I may not have, whether I don't want nobody to beat me up, who he is, but, a place of authority, because this weekend is for New York, Boston, and Connecticut.
Very cool. So you touched on it quickly, but I think it makes sense to cover kind of in depth. You've written a bunch of books. Do you want to maybe quickly cover what you wrote those books about, and where people can get a copy of them?
Sure, you can go online and get. You can go to Amazon. You can go, for any platform that you would want to, do the e-reader, or you want to purchase the book. You can go through, you know, the bookstores, and you can get them. But the first book, it was called The Power of Vision and Reflection of Your Future. And so basically, when I was, I wrote that book out of, the power of vision. In other words, everybody have a gift on the inside of them. And so you're not too young to start dreaming, but if you keep dreaming and never put it into action, and during our North Carolina tour, I met one of the executives from the Indiana Pacers. He said, I love what you're doing here. He said, because, action brings clarity.
Sure.
And so this is a powerful. So I tell everybody, dream big, but bring your dream into reality. And so that book is really kind of stirring you up. And I've heard, people come back and say that when they read that book, The Power of Vision and Reflection of Your Future, that they had to start their business. So it's all centered around entrepreneurship. The second book is called Good Success, Visions and Legacies That Last. And it talks about just the vast of information that's out there, and the insight, the origin of every good achievement, and then it talks about moving and developing the ideas and insights. And then it talks about getting expert help, and then it talks about just that dawn of a new day, and talks about good success and the power of networking. And then legacies. In other words, what are you doing? What's the purpose of why you're doing it? So we should all have a purpose, like, the Rockefellers, and, they had purpose, the Kennedys, they had purpose, and so you want to do something that's going to, help be a solution in the earth, so we can make millions and billions of dollars. And, I don't even know if in America there's been identified the first trillionaire.
Sure.
So I'm talking about, there are vast of resources and trillions of untapped, wealth of knowledge and monies that are here to help, and so that's in that Good Success. So you can go online, but we have a new book. And so my one goal is to always build other people up,
okay,
and always to bring other people forward in terms of leadership, and because one person cannot do it.
Sure.
So this book, I got different experts to even talk about health and wellness, and, technology and finances, and all different types of things. So I gathered a group of women. And so the next version, I'm also looking for volume 2, 3, 4, and 5. So volume 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'm looking for women with different expertise that, will donate some experts for women. And so this book was done so that, we can create wealth. And it's called Women All Over the World, It's Your Time. And so that book is being released. Matter of fact, I'm doing, after the Chicago tour, you can pre-order that book, and you can go online to www.wgectour.com, and you can do a pre-order. But the actual book will be on sale next week. And because I'm doing a book launching after the tour in Chicago, there's a big book launching that I'm on that platform, and we're launching that book. And it talks about, the untapped resources, the reservoirs of, of the untapped resources of technology, and the things that are out there, and the segments that people are really trying to pour into women that are going not just into business, but technology. We must prepare for a digital platform, because whether you receive it or whether you like it or not, we're in a digital world right now where you have to. I always say the clock never stops; it continues to tick. So when you're sleeping, you should set your business up that you're making money while you're sleeping, and while you're sleeping, you're making money. so at the end of the day, you have to be ready for a digital platform. And so for just the mom and pop, there are places in every segment. We're going to continue to go to our doctors. We're going to continue to go get services that we need to get services to. But, you have to prepare for a digital platform, especially in retail and digitalizing and being able to, in other words, it used to be far, but the world is smaller than what we think it is. And so, when I go into other countries, I'm running into people, that I know. And
right.
so to be in a big country and to be transplant in the same place, and you're able to do that. And I started, this business plan has been done over and over and over for the last, 25 years, 30 years.
Wow.
But this was launched on a digital platform like about 3 years ago.
Okay.
3 years ago, this was launched on a digital platform, the WGEC Tour. And out of 15,000 people, I was number one on the block.
Wow.
So it was launched in Dubai. And so this idea, and so from that, other country people, the heads of country, heads of states, they've been reaching out to me because it's not just the tour, but it's, resources and needs to health and wellness and all types of things that we do humanitarian work. So that's how we got launched. We got launched, 3 years ago in Dubai, and I've been going back and forth to Dubai since 2006.
Wow. That's really cool. So I want to switch gears a little bit. You also are the CEO of the Kingdom International Economic Development Corporation. What exactly is that nonprofit?
That nonprofit is, our motto is, our pitch is meeting needs and solving problems for the benefit of all humanity.
Okay.
So what we do is we step up, we go into poor communities, and we feed them. We give coats and hats into cold areas, and shoes. And so we meet the immediate needs, around the holidays. We do big toy giveaways, and, we help poor families that really just need help, And, but most importantly, we're just trying to be a gap stander where we can stand in the gap to help the young people and the parents. And it's not always just mothers. There are fathers that are out there that's also taking care of their children. So we see some of everything. But most of all, our platform is economic development, where we're teaching you how to fish. We want to teach you about financial literacy. We want to teach you things that, and be a resource of, setting up stuff, because our end goal is to have global centers around the world and in different communities where, we have dormitories where, we can, have a selection process where we're actually taking and bringing people in and making sure we plant you on your feet. And this is what I saw when I went to other countries. And so I want to see that same platform here. And so our end goal is to have that. And so for our not-for-profit, we are a public charity. We are a public charity, registered and licensed. So I want to, that's the heartbeat, to reform our community, transformation, and help them, advance, and get people to say, okay, whatever you need, we'll help, and we connect with partners, whether it's, they need some medical or whatever, we point you into the right direction and get you on your course. But we want to see people advance. We want to acclimate people back to society. We partner with police departments in different areas. We go in, and we went in and we took like 6 tractor trailers in full of stuff. We mobilized, and we went in into Houston, where we went in to say, hey, we partner, we tap, go into areas where we really help. And, we just partner and make sure people's lives are made better. But most of all, you learn the lesson, learn so you don't have to keep repeating things over and over again. So we want to make some of those cricket places straight into communities that people that are in need and people that need help. So that's what KIEDC is about, meeting needs and solving problems for the benefit of all humanity and changing changing the trajectory of that which is to come. So we want to make sure we tap the young people to say, okay, yes, because I remember when my mom was in need, and so I remember there was a community of people that helped, and so I want to be able to be the fabric and teach people leadership and say, this is how you make a better world, by that partnership.
No, I think that's really great. And the one thing that I think sometimes people forget, or at least I'm curious to get your opinion on, is I'm totally all for, like, a lot of people's local communities need help and whatnot. And I think that's all great. But sometimes we forget about kind of being a citizen of the world, and there's nothing wrong with, obviously trying to help your local community as well. But I think you can build a really good business or charity or both by kind of maybe thinking, about your local community, but maybe bigger than that, or maybe kind of globally or countrywide or continent wide.
Well, Kevin, you're absolutely correct. And when I say your local community, that's why we started nationwide, but this is a global tour.
Sure.
And for the simple fact that if something happens somewhere else,
yeah,
you're gonna end up with people from other places in your community anyway.
Sure.
So why would you not care about a global community? And
sure.
So and we're fostering that relationship. We're actually fostering that relationship to say, Kevin, we bleed the same. Yeah. Whether you are in, Africa, whether you are in India, whether you're in, any part of Asia, wherever you are, at the end of the day, whenever there's a 911, we end up holding the burden. So why not go into these people and infuse, help them, take care of the community? We are global citizens, whether we like it or not. And I always say, when I'm in Rome, I do what the Romans do. In other words, I go in, I respect other people's country. I respect other people's territory. I'm invited all the time to come in and speak, at the government. I was invited, to come in by His Royal Highness. Listen, there are people, that's not asking people's permission. People are going to do this anyway. So why not? We're all connected. It's an interconnection. It's technology. We're connected. I go into different communities. Some places I can receive WhatsApp. Some places I can receive Facebook. Some places I can receive WeChat. WhatsApp. So there are borders and there are territories. So, I've learned, okay, what can I do when I'm in India? What can I do, when I'm in, Africa? What can I do? What platform can I use when I'm in these different places? So when I look at that, and I said to myself, when I went in and I asked permission for the Global Entrepreneur Tour, and that we will bring women and youth from all over the world into this one place. It's the middle of the earth, in other words, it's bringing people together from all over the world. And so, I'm not, tunnel vision. I'm seeing far, near, wide, and deep. So, it's that way whether we like it or not. There are emerging economies that's emerging, and America, we're pioneers, we're trailblazers, we're this, we're that, but we have to make sure we are in tune with what's going on around the world, because other places have pieces that we don't have.
Sure.
We don't have everything in the USA. And so we become a better world when, we take the strengths. I always say, they say, well, how are you able to go to different places? And I'm glad you brought that up. How are you able to go to different places? I said, because there's 2 universal languages. And this is how, I go in as an African-American woman.
Okay.
Who didn't know anything about technology, because there are 2 universal languages. And the 2 universal language that we all come together is business and music.
Sure. Interesting, yeah.
Entertainment. those are the two languages you can go and speak in any country. I go to countries and I can't speak some of these languages. But because I'm talking business, they have an interpreter that can interpret exactly what I say. And then the music. So that entertainment piece, those are the two pieces that we can come together and we come to a common place. Isn't that awesome?
Totally. Well, the other one you could maybe argue is food. I love food from other parts of the world or cultures.
Let me tell you this, Kevin. I'm going to tell you something. When I went to China,
okay,
and I went all the way down by Vietnam.
Okay.
All the way down southern China, all the way to the end. It's a place called Burma, China.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. People are living until 140 something because of the environment. Okay? It was people that I met that were 111, 110. And I went and visited when I went to Beijing, you know, and when I went to the other parts of China, I made sure I went and I visited that place, you know, the Centurions. And let me tell you something. It was the best food that I've ever eaten in my whole life.
That's amazing.
Best food. And when I went to India, some of the best food.
Sure.
Food that I would have not normally tried. And so I'm a travel connoisseur. I love going to other countries. I have invitations to countries to meet presidents. So what I'm saying to you is I always, you know, I'm more on the vegetarian side.
Okay.
And so the way they prepare eggplants and the rice and the vegetables, and I saw vegetables I'd never seen before in my life. It was the best food. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love, you know, I do eat some, you know, things, but and it's not because of religious, it's just that, you know, it was because I made a decision.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But I want you to know that, you know, you can't be closed-minded. You know, this one place is not the only place.
Sure.
You know, and that's where the balance is. And WGEC Tour, technology, innovation, green renewable energy, it's going to bring a balance in the earth, because I believe those companies that have reached out and want to buy the license, I believe that we're going to be able to, you know, one day, you know, we'll be able to understand each other, even if we don't understand the language. But because of that business platform, and because it's an entertainment platform, that we're going to be able to understand, you know, someday, somehow. But big business is always going on.
Sure.
And we don't need to be left behind. Technology-wise, you know, India is on the move.
Totally.
You know, like never before.
Yeah. Well,
you know
and
what I'm saying?
half the world's population?
Canada.
Isn't it? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so you have China and you have India, but don't forget Africa.
Yeah, totally.
So things are going on, but guess what? I'm doing my research. Canada is a very resourceful place. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And it's not far. And so I'm telling folks, you know, don't be closed-minded, you know, but, you know, do your research, investigate, do what you need to do, and don't be afraid. Launch out, you know, and unlock the hidden treasures that are locked up inside of women, inside of youth, you know, inside of the millennials. You know, that's what WGEC tour is about. And then, you know, a lot of people have preconception about going to the Middle East. Let me tell you, I traveled to Dubai by myself. I want you to know.
Interesting.
You know,
okay.
so one of the most beautiful places. I was there before a lot began. I went before a lot began, and then, you know, just to see what they were actually doing, and then being able to, you know, travel there, you know, once a lot of stuff was done. Wow, what an amazing place. But we're open. We're open to countries that want us to come with the entrepreneurship tour. You know, we're open to government. We're open to say, send us an invite if you want us to come. Let us come. And just like the minds of people are closed to other countries, a lot of people's minds were closed to women in entrepreneurship and technology. So this is that platform to say, hey, you know, we support those that support us. Help us advance individuals, women and youth, and the young millennials.
Sure. we're coming to the end of the show, so I do want to close though with, we covered a lot today, but if people want to get involved, where can they kind of get in touch with you, and kind of how can people help? Is there any kind of maybe quick suggestions of things that people can do, either financially or kind of volunteer, or what are you guys kind of looking for?
Oh, absolutely. Kevin, one, if you want to sponsor a youth or sponsor women, under the economic part and teaching them, entrepreneurship, you can, we're not-for-profit. You could get a tax write-off.
Sure.
You can go to our KIEDC website, which is KIEDC.com. That's www.kiedc.com. That's on that platform. But you can also, if you want to sponsor, you can reach us, and you can go to www.wgectour.com. So we need sponsors. We need some investors that want to invest onto the investment side of the tour. We need financial support like never before, because it's growing, and it's growing so far above, what we thought and could imagine so quickly. This is going to be our second stop. And so we need so much financial support. So people that want to give out prizes and want to market, if you want to market and do advertisement on our site, hit us at, again, www.wgectour. I'm always looking for judging, especially when we come to the big event, some experts. If you can reach out to me, go to our website and, to send me a email from www.wgectour. And again, on our site, we have a CD that we also creating wealth. And for the listeners, if you just help us, if we can get, 50 million people to buy our CD, women all over the world, it's your time. That's a CD. And the CD is 99 cents.
Okay.
And so you can go to Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere where, you can get that CD. That'll be fine, because, we have our entertainment company. So you can get that CD. That is to help us fund, our efforts. You can also, buy our book, and learn, more about, entrepreneurship. And that's Women All Over the World. It's your time. And you're going to be able to get that on any digital platform. But you can also, if you want to do a pre-sale, you can go onto our website and pre-sale and buy the actual book. But, whatever we get, we try to give back. So those other two books are already out there. Again, it's The Power of Vision, a Reflection of Your Future. And then Good Success, Vision, and Legacies That Last. And those are written by Metashar Dillon as the author. So we need your support. We need partners. We need sponsors. We need, we're open for investment. So reach out to me. We're here. We need support. We just need an ingenuity of technology people, a wealth of technology people to say, hey, I have this. I would love to come. I'm always looking for presenters to come and present.
Sure.
We have a platform that we're presenting in Dallas. And that platform, have close to 1 billion people. We need some high-level experts, so we're going to be pushing out. And then when we go to Houston, while we're there, we're going to be doing a humanitarian piece. And we're looking for people to come in and help. People are actually still dying in Houston because of Harvey, because of the mold.
That's sad.
And so we've launched an effort. We've launched an effort to help empower and to help build back communities. So we do have an effort of that that's on our KIEDC site. And so part of that, Kevin Sanford, our producer, is doing a Love and a Light, concert. So if anybody's interested, in helping with that sponsorship, please, by all means, get in contact with us, because we are going to do what we need to do, not just, and it's going to be done worldwide. It's not just one segment of USA. If we don't extend our hands, and lock hands worldwide, then, what is this world? God created it. It doesn't belong to anybody, And so, but it belongs to us together as global citizens. And I love when you said that, Kevin. Thank you very much. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on, Instagram, hashtag WGEC Tour, 2018, women all over the world, it's your time, launch your future. I want to make sure I put those hashtags out there.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing it. And just again, the website address is kiedc.org, and then the tour is wgectour.com, and people should go check those out. But I really appreciate you taking the time into your day to be on the show, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you, and have a good rest of your day.
Yes, Kevin, I thank you so much. Kevin, you are a jewel. I heard about some of the things that you're actually doing to building a future show, and some of the things that you're doing in January. So whatever I can do to help support that, I'm all in. Count me in. I'm a team player.
Well, I really appreciate that, and we'll keep in touch, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks.
you very much.
Hey, bye. Thanks for listening. Please visit the show's website at buildingthefutureshow.com. Also check us out on Facebook at Building the Future Show, and follow us on Twitter at Building Show. The music for the show is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com, and keep building the future.